I've never really understood the contradiction. If you look up what to do if you're depressed on the internet, you're likely to be met by the following advice. Don't suffer in silence. Tell a friend. Share it. You are not alone. A trouble shared is a trouble halved. Compare that with the advice given if you search how to be happy. Don't hang around with negative people. They'll only drag you down. Cleanse your life from the negativity. Get those people out of your world. It's a conundrum. Reconciling that contradiction is truly a mystery. One I cannot get my head around, and believe you me, I've tried. Tell a friend and risk them cleansing you out of their life. That's the dilemma. Not anymore. I'm very careful about what I tell anybody these days. I'm somebody who's experienced the contradiction firsthand. An important lesson to be learnt the hard way. So I called a friend, Amy, when I were in this bad place and I needed to talk. I asked her if I could talk. She put her husband on phone. He says, "Look, Mia, if you're only going to call when you're down and in the dumps, don't call. Please don't call." End of conversation. But being in the dumps was my default setting at the time. Though sometimes I was still fun and entertaining despite myself, usually when I were faking it or manic. At any rate, on this occasion I stood there holding the receiver, listening to the dial tone, thinking, where should I go now? It was a bitter pill to swallow. Of course, I understand. Who needs some misery guts ringing you up at end of working day, boring you with the despair, especially when the person you're talking to believes you've got so much going for you, and that you just need to get over it, pull yourself together and get a life. I know. I understand. I can see where they're coming from. And I've never forgotten that lesson, and they're no longer my friends. There wasn't anywhere to go with the friendship from there, were there really? They do say, when the chips are down, that you find out who your true friends are. Who knew I had so few? I was once the life and soul of the party. Had a prestigious job, paid well, lovely husband, beautiful home, loads of friends, or so I thought. No kids. Jason didn't want us tied down. I knew I'd never change his mind, so I accepted it. You do, don't you? When you love somebody and you want to be with them, you make adjustments, compromises, however difficult. Everything in the garden was rosy until he hit his midlife crisis. He told me he didn't love me anymore. We're leaving. Left. Nobody else involved, he assured me. And I'm sure his pregnant teenage girlfriend didn't have anything to do with it either. He's got 2 now, or so I've heard. Kids, I mean, not pregnant teenage girlfriends. Though knowing him like I do now, nothing would surprise me. I've heard he's constantly knackered these days. Good. Serves him right. Friends took sides. That was the first lesson. Most of them are married, and I quickly learned that I was persona non grata. I assumed this was in case it was catching. Pamela invited me round to commiserate, I thought. But no, she spent the evening being hysterically upbeat and drowning out any chance of conversation by playing her CDs full blast. At one point she asked me, "What shall I play next, Mia?" I said, "How about the Sound of Silence?" She didn't get it. I gave up then. I just resigned myself to emptying the wine bottle. I've never been a big drinker. Suddenly, I were looking out for the best deals on bulk buys of vino from Aldi. It was about that time my whole world seemed to fall to bits. I hadn't just lost Jason. Felt like I'd lost everything. I was struggling. Went on long-term sick, which did not impress my employer, and earned me a demotion, despite their professed commitment to well-being in the workplace. Sod them. Couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Couldn't get to bed at night. Trapped in the house on me Todd, knocking it back and crying the proverbial river. Couldn't function. I eventually stumbled into the waiting room of our local medical centre. It were either that or throw myself under a bus, and I was not going to go down that road. No coming back from that road. They very kindly put me on a waiting list to see a counsellor and told me it would be a 10-month minimum wait. Best thing was, I was prescribed Prozac in the interim. It turned out to be a lifesaver in more ways than one. I get the impression people are ashamed to admit they take it. Not me. If it helps, it helps. And Prozac helps. It means I can function. I can get out of bed. I can go to work. I can shop, cook. I can take care of myself. I can be a responsible adult. I can pass for normal even. Don't get me wrong. I'm not all happy-clappy. They're not happy pills as such. But I can function, which is more than I could before. The lovely other side effect of it is that it took away my sex drive. I'm dead below the waist now, which is an advantage. Means I've no interest in men. None. Not looking and doubt I ever will again. I am not putting myself through that again. If I could be that wrong, that long, I don't think I could ever trust my own judgment again. And I found my own therapist. Who knew Jason could be so easily replaced from the shelves in Ikea? My bear's a Swedish bear. I call him Benny Bear. Don't I, Benny? And I'm his mama. Mamma mia. Thing I missed most about Jason was cuddling up in bed. We always slept so well together, cuddled up like spoons throughout our married life. I decided that the reason I struggled going to bed was because it was empty. Not anymore. I could look to Benny. Don't I, Benny? Jason's profile picture popped up as an unwanted notification on Facebook the other day. As a friend of a friend and someone you may know. I hardly recognised him. He looks like oldest swinger in town. He looks about 90. I deleted the notification. Clearly, I'd never known him. The only good bit of advice anyone ever gave me? Better to find out at 45 than 65. And indeed it was. Never a truer word spoken. Benny is a great comfort. He listens to me whinging and whining without complaint. Never answers back. Never tells me to get a grip. He don't complain if I cry and wet his fur. He's not going to have some midlife crisis and leave me for Goldilocks or some other younger trophy bear cub. And he's a great cuddler into the bargain. That's the kind of friend we all need.